Hey everybody, let me just wait a couple minutes for people to pop on. I'm on Facebook and I'm on Instagram. Let me just pull some things up here so I don't forget anything I want to talk about. Tonight we are going to talk about the bliss point of food. Now, the bliss point is something that I recently, the past few weeks or so, have been reading about and kind of researching. And I actually heard about it from a guy named Matthew Hussey, who is a dating and kind of like a relationship expert. And he was talking about the bliss point in terms of dating and how men like women who are a little bit sweet, but are also a little bit salty. And he was calling it the bliss point. And then he mentioned how the bliss point is actually a food term. And so for me, I was like, oh, I wonder what it is. And let me tell you, my mind was blown, and I hope that you guys have like a wow moment like I had, because ever since then I've been like, I'm on to this food industry. So what is the bliss point? The bliss point of food is the point at which food manufacturers have created the most perfect balance of sweet, salty, and fat to optimize food's tastiness, meaning the food's not too sweet, it's not too salty, it doesn't really have one flavor that overpowers another. It's just right. And that's the bliss point. And that bliss point makes us crave more food and makes us want to eat more. I can't, like, I don't know why I'm shocked. Like, I know stuff like this happens in our food industry and all of that, but it just seems so slimy to me, right? Like, they're tricking us into eating more food. They literally hire researchers and scientists to figure out what makes us want to eat more food. So the bliss point is the perfect combination that when it hits our tongue, our brain starts firing off signals of, oh my gosh, that tastes so good, keep eating it, eat more, eat more, eat more. It is scientifically manufactured to be addictive and to leave us craving more food. So it's foods like Oreos, which breaks my heart to say because I love Oreos, but foods like Oreos, Doritos, Coca-Cola, that have that, they pique our taste buds just enough to leave us wanting more, because there's no certain distinct flavor, again, that overpowers another. So if somebody asks you what does Coca-Cola taste like, well, it's sweet, but it's also kind of spicy, and it's like a little bitter maybe, so you can't really describe what it is. Same thing with an Oreo. Next time you go to eat an Oreo, notice the saltiness. It's incredible. I mean, please tell me if you're watching live or if you're watching the replay that I'm not alone here and that your mind is blown as well, because to me, I was like, oh my God, I'm on to you guys now. So when we eat these bliss point foods, which are highly processed sugar, salt, and fatty foods, it triggers us to eat more, it triggers us to eat mindlessly, and it triggers us to want to eat the same foods over and over and over again. So that's why you can go to the grocery store and buy the same stuff. Like for me, I never get sick of Oreos. Why? Because they're a bliss point food. Crazy. So what do we do about it? Number one, if you're having a hard time not eating these bliss point foods, get rid of them. The less processed food you eat, the better. The more whole foods you eat, the better. So if you're really having a hard time not eating the whole box of Oreos, stop buying Oreos. Or if you can't stop eating chips, stop buying chips. Just get them out of your house. The second option is to practice mindful eating with these bliss point foods, knowing that your brain is going to be signaling you to eat more. This is so good. Just eat more. Just eat more. I mean, who's been there? Who's been on their couch eating a bag of chips and you're like, oh, I know I shouldn't keep eating this, but I kind of like, I can't stop. I don't really know what's going on. So know that you take a portion of the food, maybe a couple cookies, maybe a little bowl of chips, being fully aware that your brain is going to tell you go eat more, but you're not going to do it. You're going to surf the urge, you're going to ride the wave and let it pass. And then number three, remember that your food choices, what you eat, how much you eat, when you eat, why you eat, it is entirely 100% up to you. And that just because you have a craving, it doesn't mean that you have to do anything about it. We don't have to satisfy every craving that we have. Oh my gosh, imagine if we did, right? We have to learn to tell ourselves no sometimes, and that's okay. And especially foods like these Bliss Point foods, they're not going anywhere anytime soon. They're highly accessible wherever we are, whenever we want them. So drink some water, get out of the kitchen, get busy doing something, and let the urge to eat pass. If you have questions about the Bliss Point, pop them in the comments. And I also want to talk about the sweet, salty cravings, because a couple people were telling me yesterday how I eat something salty and then I want something sweet. And the Bliss Point can definitely play a fact in that, right? Because if we're wired to think that everything should be as satisfying as a donut or as some chips, and then we go and we eat chicken, broccoli, and rice, it's nowhere near as satisfying, right? So we have to be sure that we're not chasing that Bliss Point. And if we find ourselves going back and forth between salty and sweet, put the snacks away. It's time to stop and remind yourself that nobody's ever died from being Dorito deficient or Oreo deficient, or I'm all fuzzy over here, or anything like that. We've never died because we haven't satisfied a craving, okay? So just remind yourself of that when you keep going back and forth between the salty and sweet. A couple of reasons why this could be happening. Number one is because we get bored of the same flavors. So if you're eating a lot of salty stuff, your body's gonna be like, okay, enough of that, give me something sweet. If you eat sweets, give me something salty. So it could be that you're just getting bored and it's time to put those snacks away. You could also chalk it up to habit. So I hear this from people a lot, and I do this too. After lunch or after dinner, I always want something sweet. I just had a savory meal, so I want something sweet to top it off. So grabbing something like a mint or a piece of gum could solve that problem very easily. But it is very important to make sure that your meals are balanced from a nutritional standpoint. So there's some protein, fat, and fiber in there. So they're satisfying, physically satisfying, but also mentally satisfying. So be sure that the foods you're eating are tasty and they are enjoyable. So hopefully this gives you a better understanding of why you're craving the foods you're craving and what you can do about it, and how the food industry is really kind of trying to screw us a little bit here. And if you haven't done so yet, grab my 5 Steps to Conquering Your Sugar Cravings guide. If you're on Facebook, link is in the description of this video. If you're on Instagram, link is in my bio. This guide is going to take you from constantly craving all the food to back in the driver's seat and back in control and confident in your food choices. So are there any questions? Can I answer any questions for you guys? Hey, Candace. Sadie, that is me. I definitely find myself going back and forth between sweet, salty, and I also love sweet and salty at the same time. Yeah, I mean, there's no better combo, right? It is that Bliss Point. That's what it is. And I know you got this stuff on lockdown, but for anybody who might not be super confident in how to navigate this stuff, we just really have to learn to tell ourselves when enough is enough. And now that we have the information, we know what the Bliss Point is, we can call it what it is. It's not us. It's not a need. It's not our body needing more pretzels and peanut butter and chocolate. It's our mind. And we have to learn to kind of rewire ourselves to want better foods and crave better choices. So that's what I have to say about that. Any other questions or anything like that about this? And please tell me, was your mind blown? Did you already know this? Because when I first heard about it, I was like from the dating guy, I was like, oh, that's really cute. That's like a really cool way to describe whatever, blah, blah, blah. And then I start reading the stuff about food, and I'm like, this is just so maddening. They are just playing with us. They're screwing with us. So anyway, that's what I got for you. So be sure to download that guide. It's totally free, and there's a whole email series that comes after it too, so that you can start digging deeper into your cravings, how to navigate them, how to quiet them a little bit, because they never fully go away. It's just how to quiet them down a little. Let me know if you have any questions, and I am coming on tomorrow with a video tomorrow morning. Guys, if you get squeamish, plug up those ears about why we crave certain foods around our periods. So get asked that a lot. Why is it the week before my period I just want to eat everything? And there are reasons for it. I'm going to talk about